Hey guys, Dan Gogler here doing my assignment 6 summary reflection for AEP 873, Google and Education. Going through the explanation stage, I kind of thought I knew quite a bit about Google tools and educational products. So this was a class that when I signed up for it, I thought I'm going to do pretty good at this one. I feel really confident in this. I use quite a few Google tools, including Docs, Slides, Classroom, all the time in my class. But I was also thinking to myself, this could be cool because I love Google tools and products. So maybe I'll find some new ones out that I could use, or something that I can introduce to my classroom and be a better teacher, or even in my personal life. Just, hey, I could use this. This would be a really cool tool to use down the road. Um, when I actually got into the class, I actually found out that I knew quite a bit about the tools that I was already using. When we went through Docs, Slides, Classroom, I felt pretty good about it, and there wasn't really a lot of new material that I was learning throughout the course. But there were some new ones that I was introduced to. Keep, I had no clue what that was. I didn't really know much about it. That was interesting to me. I knew only really about community insights because of other master courses, but didn't know much about them. So those ones I found kind of interesting, going through and seeing them and being introduced to them from the class and what other people were doing with them. When I got to the conjecture stage, I think my question was, would these new Google tools that I didn't know anything about, would they aid me in either my personal, professional, or social aspects of life? Would keep be useful to me? Would sites or communities? Is this something I should implement maybe more down the road in any stage of my life? And really, when I got into the analysis stage, I would say a calendar, which is not something I'd use regularly, is something I could use, not only in my personal life but also professionally, and I could link up with my phone, my Android phone, and use it to help myself keep better track of things personally and professionally. I already use a lot of other tools out there. I use my phone quite a bit to take notes, so I don't think I'd use Keep really when analyzing what I should use down the road. That's when I use other things, and my phone is just handier, just to speech to text and put it in, and boom, it'll keep the note for me. I prefer Google Classroom before and even after this class over communities or sites. I feel like I can implement almost everything I would use in Classroom that I might end up using community or sites for, and I think it's just more user friendly and a little bit better oriented for my middle school students. So I don't see myself really using any of those tools down the road. Obviously, community sites I'm going to use in the last couple master classes I have, but I don't really see myself using any of those tools beyond that. In my last stage, in the synthesis stage, I found myself um, really being amazed by what Google had to offer. I mean, they have a lot out there, and there was a lot from the class that I didn't know, and that I was introduced to, and a lot of students kind of showed me some cool things you can do with those. And what it made me realize in the end was, although Google offers all this neat stuff and all this cool stuff and all these tools, and I'm such a big supporter of them, and I kind of dive in head first sometimes into what they got. Ultimately, when we look at tools, we gotta kind of fit into our classrooms, into our personal lives, what best works for us. And that may not always, that may be a Google tool, that may be something else. So even though I utilize a lot of Google, it doesn't mean I have to utilize everything Google, and neither does anybody else. Ultimately, when we look at technology, we got to keep in mind that best fit is always going to be a better tool in personal life and professional life in the classroom. And that's what should really guide us when we're picking our tools, not necessarily just the name of the brand, but how it works and how it functions. And I think in today's age, we can get stuck on brands so much. I mean, just look at the phones, Apple versus Android. Some people will only buy this phone ever, even if that phone, 20 years from now may not be the best phone for them. They might still just do it because of the brand name, And that's not what we want to get into when we're looking at Google tools or any educational tools. So once again, I'd like to thank you guys. Like I said, I did really learn some new things and some new tricks and some new tips and tools, and some of the tools I already knew. I learned, some things you could do with it that I didn't know you could do. So I did enjoy the class, and I enjoyed learning alongside you guys, and I thank you for everything you introduced me to. So have a good summer. Thanks, guys.